Good morning, everybody. I'm welcoming Mr. Ravi Jain from Bangalore. He's a weekend investor. And Ravi, to start with, please tell us about yourself, a bit about your journey into investing, and your experience till you reached the point where you found weekend investing.
Yeah, sure. Good morning, Alok sir.
Good
To
morning.
start with, I think I started my professional career somewhere around 2011, right? And after that, I think after 3-4 years into my professional journey, you definitely have friend circles or things where you get to hear about the kind of profits people are making in equities, etc. So that's where I think somewhere around start of 2016. I probably opened my first Demat account with a non-discount broker, right? It was a bank. I don't want to name it right now. And then usual thing, right? I think it comes up like a gambling kind of thing at the start, right? You start doing intraday, and then kind of emotions you see, right? Emotional factor do come in, where you sometimes do revenge trading also, right? Where if you lose something in some stocks. So
Yeah.
I definitely, right, I did burn my hands earlier. Fortunately, I did not put much capital at the start, right? So the drawdowns, if you say, were kind of like 10 to 15%, so were manageable. And sort of, I was lucky that I could earn good amount in the buyback play. So we had many buybacks in the IT sector, especially during that time. So I did some analysis and kind of played into it and could compensate my losses with that, right? But one thing which, the initial probably 1.5 year went like that. And that's when I noticed that due to my intraday play, right, with the non-discount broker, my net profit and loss, without the brokerage was probably same, but then the brokerage is what was hurting me a lot, right, because of the amount of turnover which was happening in the account. So I read about Zerodha and I switched to it. And after switching, I think probably I learned lessons also that let's not do intraday much, go with the short term and little bit of long term play in the blue chip stocks, right? That was kind of going okay. But then the peace of mind, right, that factor was not there. I used to always think about it, open up the screen hundreds of times in a day and figure out what's happening,
And that must have impacted your work also.
Yeah, exactly, right? The instinct to try something, do something, right?
Sure.
So at that point of time, I think somewhere around December 2017 or February 2018, right? There was one article in Money Control. There was an interview, I guess. So I read through that, and that's when I got to know about weekend investing, right? And then I approached you over email to get more details. At that time, I think it was only live strategies, right? So I opted for MI25, and I thought let's keep it in a separate account. So I opened it in one of my family members' name.
And I think that was the peak of small cap market at that point.
Actually, right. So I was about to come to that, right? That was peak, but nobody knew, right? It's a peak.
Right.
So the one thing which attracted me, or probably kept my myself going during the drawdown, was the 8% service guarantee, right? So I was like, okay, I am gonna get at least 8%, and looking at the past record, etc., I thought it's gonna get better only, right? And I don't have to pay anymore unless I get 8%, right? And also, fortunately, I mean, I did not intend to do, but it happened initially that I didn't have much capital, right, initially. So when I joined, I did not put much, and then I kept adding to it. So the drawdowns actually helped get my average cost down. And then after after 2 years, when things started picking up, I had most of a good chunk of capital, in this strategy, and then the gains, became like say plus 100% or more than that. right? So that compensated the whole thing, even the annual fees also, right?
Yes.
Without the service guarantee. So, but then what this experience helped me was,
So basically, you're coming in at the heat of the market, but not coming in with full force. Only deploying a small part at that point actually helped you a lot.
Correct. Yeah, it happened by chance, but then gradually, once the drawdown started happening, I learned that maybe this is a good opportunity to put in more capital. And this whole cycle of 2 years, right, actually helped me understand that how to go about general investing, right? Don't go with full force at the start, and keep deploying whenever there are some drawdowns. I mean, we can, like you have mentioned many times, right? People have their own strategy on top of your strategy, right? So they do, put lump sum whenever there is a big drawdown in the market. So yeah, that's what. So, and then my other account, the primary account, which I used to do, right, for my regular.
And what has been your approach in that account? I mean, this was a momentum, a separate account, but in your primary account, what has been the approach?
No, there I think I reduced most of my activity, right? I limited it to very large cap stocks, right? And some buyback plays I still try to do, but then other than that, I think it is mostly a large cap, and I don't do much in that. From past 7 months, I'm trying to move away from that, because I basically don't even want to go into discretionary thing, right? So some of the capital gains, etc., due to that, I'm holding back, but I plan to gradually move out of the discretionary part and move. And that is the reason I subscribed to MI All Cap as well a few months back, and plan to do for NNF 10.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah.
So, in your experience, the ad hoc / discretionary investing that you were doing in the other account, that even despite this mad bull run that we've seen, could not really, give you confidence similar to what you are seeing in the momentum portfolio.
Yeah, that's right? True. That's true, right? And it's all like, when it's a discretionary, right? So that's the investing. I mean, the trading is not my primary job, right? So the decisions I make there are more based on the instinct, basically, right? I could not get much time to do the research part, etc. So I see that even if I got some profit in some stocks, it's probably luck, right? Not more than that. So that's why I don't even want to spend that much time also on discretionary, when that after spending only say 15 minutes per week, you are able to manage or beat that part, right? So why to go into that?
And you never ventured into mutual funds or index funds, etc.?
Mutual funds are there. So I started in 2016, right? This whole thing. So to around mid 2017 is when I started the SIPs in the MFs, right? And I'm still continuing it, right? So doing both parts, both small cases as well as mutual funds. Reason being, the CAGR so far I have seen, whatever funds I've invested in, CAGR has been kind of good so far, right? And it's a little bit more on the diversification front also. I don't want to get into direct equity. My whole thing, I don't want to put into direct equity.
That's very reasonable to diversify all your assets across various types of equities and products. So that's very good. So in terms of weekend investing products, you've tried 2, and you have plans of taking more. So is there any sort of feedback or complaints or any issues that you may think that can improve the product or improve the service or improve any customer experience, something that you feel that could better the system or the service, if you could share that?
Yeah, sure. Before I go for the suggestion, I just want to share some of the overall my learnings, right?
Please
from
go
the
ahead.
whole weekend investing interaction.
Please go ahead.
The first thing was peace of mind, right? It's very true that the moment I see the email, in case of live strategies, right? you don't even care what the symbol represents, right? Which company does it represent? You don't care about that. Simply go ahead. It's just a ticker for you, right? You go ahead,
Right.
put the buy order and put the sell order as suggested by the strategy, and then you don't have to worry about it. What will happen, right? It's peace of mind. That's one thing. Second thing is the support system has been really great, right?
Okay, great.
So I think be it over emails. I mean, earlier it used to be Twitter DMs also, but I think we discussed about it, and you said emails are better way so that we don't lose track of this stuff.
Yes.
So but then that is great, right? The turnaround time, etc. Not sure how do you manage with the number of clients you have, but still,
fortunately, most of our clients are able to figure out things themselves. But the few clients that need some hand holding at the beginning, so we get a few mails a day. But we have some support team also now. So our turnaround time basically is fixed, that we want to turn around the same day in few hours if required, and that has worked well so far.
Okay, yeah. And another thing was you highlighted importance of gold allocation, right? Initially, I had zero allocation, and after reading your tweets, I did research on SGB, right, and found and that is also a good chunk of my portfolio, right? Like you say, age divided by 2. I'm still yet to reach that percentage of allocation, but going in the same track.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful.
So these are the things, right? So the tweets, etc., whatever, they are good for learning. I don't go into much of the technical stuff though. All right, your tweets include technical indicators, etc., but that is probably not my domain.
Correct.
I think some of the feedback probably could be, I mean, it's more of like that's from my personal angle, right?
Sure.
Maybe how can we have international market exposure through weekend investing products, right?
Right. We will be working on that this year for sure.
Okay, good. One more thing was lessons on momentum indicators or say personal finance, like Zerodha Varsity is there, right? Which is pretty huge and a detailed thing. Something like that, if possible, right? So people like us, say I do have holdings in some of the international funds due to the nature of the work I do. So some of the momentum indicators, how do you use it? Definitely your strategy is proprietary, right? But then it's a general learning purpose.
Correct. Right. So we can take that up in our daily bites, the videos that we do every day. We can cover some of those materials as well in the future, definitely.
Yeah, and I think that last thing is probably with the increasing number of available options with weekend investing, right? Sometimes it may become confusing for any new person who is entering into it, right? Maybe I have been associated with weekend investing from last say 3-4 years.
Correct.
So I understand why some things are coming up, etc. Right?
Correct.
But for a new person, it may become confusing.
Yes. So we are for that query, I would say that we are taking up a major overall exercise in terms of trying to categorize various products into different, very clear, focused categories, so that a person is able to immediately identify where he should be going. And the Weekend Investing HUB is a first step in that direction. And then later we will be expanding that categorization and process of filtering where you will be able to put in your requirement and the system will throw out that this is the right product. So that kind of a system we will work at. So this is where we are, and I want to thank you so much for your time this Saturday morning.
No issues.
And for giving your feedback and for sharing your experience, because this is very important for new users, for people who have never tried momentum investing, for people who have never tried equity investing, to hear from other people what has been their journey, how they've experienced it, and how you need to spend some time despite coming at the top of the market to really get to the height of it. So thank you so much, Ravi, and wish you all the best.
Yeah, thank you, Alex sir. It's great interacting with you.
Absolutely.
Thanks
Great.
for giving the opportunity.